Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Leading Our Own Way. This week we've got Sam Jones on the podcast. If part one was the story of survival, the anger, the chaos, the consequences, part two is the chapter about the rebuild. If you missed part one, please go back. Please, you have to. It's incredible. And it makes more sense before you listen to this one. My guest, Sammy Jones, the Unbreakable Mentor. And in this part, Sam shares what it actually takes to move from a life driven by ego and reaction to a life built on peace, purpose and presence. We talk breathwork, not as a trend, but as a tool to regulate emotion when your body has only ever known intensity. That he has. We talk vulnerability, communication, and the kind of support that makes change sustainable. Because healing isn't just deciding you want better, it's learning how to be better, one breath, one choice, and one day at a time. If you're ready for the practical side of transformation, you're in the right place. And if this conversation helps you, take 10 seconds to follow the show and leave a quick rating and review if you can, if that's possible. It's how these stories reach the people who need them most. Anyway, here's part two with Sam and myself. That's I can't imagine. I struggle to imagine you doing it, to be honest. Yeah. With you in America, not you in America. There was a time you went into jail, and I thought this was absolutely insane. And what are the odds of this happening? But are you happy to share how your mum found out about all the times you went? That was in.
I'd been arrested earlier in the day. I don't know what day it was. Just say it was a Monday, and what happened was they put an alert out on the car that I was driving. Because I didn't have a driver's license. I had a hire car, didn't have a driver's license, so they put an alert out on that car, which means like a bolo alert, so be on the lookout. If you see this car, pull them over.
Got you.
So they didn't know that I could hear them from the watch house cell. And anyway, I got bail, and as I've left, I've caught up my mate, and I said, yeah, look, I'll just let him know what's happened. I said, I need a car, I need to go get drugs, I need to go do this. Can I borrow yours? And he's like, yeah, sweet. I said, well, swap. You can drive the hire car and I'll come get yours. He goes, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, so I've gone and picked his car up, dropped him off at the hire car. He's driving that around. I'm driving his car around. I've gone to my mate's place. I picked up a lot of drugs. There's a gun in the car. There's money in the car. And would have been about midnight, maybe 1 a.m. And I had to leave his house. The place I was going wasn't too far from there. Normally I wouldn't drive at that time, but I'm like, it's not too far from here. I'll be right. Anyway, so I've come out of the street, and as I've hit the main road, I've looked over and there's a cop car going past me. So I'm like watching him in the rear view mirror. Anyway, I see them put their brake lights on. So I'm like, all right, sweet. I'll just take off. Been in a lot of chases. It'll be fine. Normally they call the chase off in Queensland if it's over 120 k's an hour or if it's in danger to the public. Mate, at that time in the morning, there's no other cars on the road. There's no public for there to be in danger. So I'm on the wrong side of the road. 180 k's, 200 k's an hour, no headlights on, and this cop car's just sitting behind me, just chasing me the whole way. So I've on the phone to my mate after like 10, 15 minutes, going, brother, you got to get these cops away from me, like just start shooting a gun in the air or something so that people call the police and get them to you. He's like, he's freaking out. And then by that stage, I'm like, mate, fuck, is it going to be a big chase? So I'm trying to like get rid of stuff, and I'm telling him on the phone where I've thrown stuff out the window so we can go pick it up. Anyway, I was like, you know what, I'll get on the train tracks. This is about after 35, 40 minutes of me driving, dodging spike strips and going over islands, and mate, there's cars everywhere following me. Anyway, I was like, if I get on the train tracks, I'll be right. So anyway, I took the wrong street. I was supposed to take the one over the bridge. I took the one before the bridge. So I've hit that street and I've gone, shit, dead end. My mate's like, well, turn around. So I've hit reverse. I've gone, bang, straight back into the cop car. I'm like, fuck, the only way I can go is forward. And I'm like, well, the train tracks are on the other side of their back fence. They've got to be. So there's these big iron gates there, and I've just rammed the iron gates. It didn't knock them down, so I've reversed a bit, bang, rammed through them again. As I've rammed through them, I'm driving down the side of this house. I've seen the back fence, and I've gone, oh, sweet, the train tracks will be on the other side. They'll call the chase off. I'll just get out and run. So I've gone through this fence, bang, swimming pool, straight into the swimming pool.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
And that's how you got
shit. And my mate, he's on the phone still. He's going, what are you going for a swim? I was like, fucking shut up. And anyway, so I've like rammed the door open of the car as I've rammed it open, I've like climbed out and the door's shut on my leg and the water's just pushed against it. Like the car's completely under the water now. Anyway, so I'm still on the phone to him and the cops are running around there. There's a police dog. He's going, the dog's going to maul you. He's going to maul you. And I was like, mate, you're being pretty rude. I'm on the phone. Can you keep it down? He sort of like looked at me like, what? I said, you're being rude. I'm on the phone. Keep it down. And I said to my mate, brother, I'm going to have to call you back. So I smashed the phone, put it in the water, and I just pegged the phone. So I'm sitting on the roof of his car. His copper's over there with the police dog. And he's like, mate, I'm going to let the dog go soon. I said, I'm stuck. What do you want me to do? I said, tell him to come for a swim. Like, anyway, he goes, give me your hand. So I went, yeah, fucking here you go. And he's grabbed me by the middle finger and pulled me out. And as soon as I've landed, a big kick in the face. And then I sort of went to get up and then just those cops everywhere jumping on me, jumping on my head. And yeah.
And your mum saw that.
Yeah, so mum was actually in Canada at the time.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, so I didn't realise. So by this stage, I'm in my 20s now. Mum met my stepdad when I was 19, and so his company's based in Canada that he works for, so they go there every year. And anyway, at this stage, so mum's in Canada. Apparently, it's made CNN news that this car in Brisbane, Australia, has been a big, massive police chase, driven through a house and landed in a swimming pool. And mum just had a feeling, she's called up my brother and she's like, where is he? Wow. He's like, shit, I don't know, I'll find out. Yeah.
Crazy story. Absolutely crazy. With your character fascinates me.
Yeah.
Did this character, this mentality transfer into jail? Because, I mean, if I went to jail, I would shit myself. Did that carry on in jail? Were you the top dog, the bottom dog? Like, how did your character play out in there?
It was different each time, when you go to the jail at that younger age, you're considered a kid. Like, you're not one of the men till you're in your 30s or late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
So you're one of the kids and you're just trying to prove yourself. So it's just not everyone, but the majority of people in there have the same mentality. Just don't back down from anyone. It's a whole nother learning trip to go on, Yeah. You've got to learn the basics of jail, then you've got to learn what to say, how to say things to people, what not to say to people, different words you use, how to, the way that you talk to the screws, everything like that. Yeah.
And all during this time, you're part of the Bikey club, is that correct?
Yeah, so the first time, no. I was sort of just to hang around at that stage. And then, when I got out, that's when, that's when I pretty much went fully in with the club, yeah.
And how did they play a role when you went to jail? Were they supportive of you when you got back out? I've heard biking clubs will, put you on, like not shun you out, but kind of put you to the side, like not off duty. I don't know what the right word is, but I don't know. You probably have a better idea of where I'm coming from that.
It was, that first time or the second time that I was in there, it was like they were there for me, they put money in your account and stuff like that. And I was getting letters from my mates then at that stage when we were at that age. But then when I got out, it was straight back into it. Yeah, it just really depends on what the person's parole conditions are and everything when they get out. Because some people get out, they got a ankle bracelet on, they've got extremely strict parole conditions,
Yeah.
But then, the last sentence that I did when I got out, it was just totally different again that time as well, yeah.
In all the other times that you got out, was there ever a moment where you go, I'm changing my life, I'm going for the better, or was it just right back into it?
No, 100%. So it's like they call it the jail clarity.
Yeah.
So while you're in there, you're just like, man, what am I doing with my life? I can't stand this, You're copping shit from, you're just in a situation you don't want to be in, They're sending traumatized people to a trauma factory where they've got a survival fee and then letting them out.
Yeah.
There was times this clarity would come, but yet again, you're surrounded by people, you're surrounded by drugs all day. You're surrounded by people talking about crime and wanting to get drugs, or if they've got drugs, when are they going to get more drugs? Or, old mate over here says something about you, what are you going to do about it? All that kind of stuff. So it's hard to sort of stay in that mentality for too long. And it's like, then when you get out, you're like, all right, I'm going to do the right thing. But you got a criminal record. All you speak is just jail talk and crim talk. So when you're trying to hang around normal sort of stiff people, or you're trying to get a job, no one's giving you a chance. So what do? It's like you're pushed to the side of society again. And who do you hang out with there? The other people on the side of society. And what are they doing? The stuff you used to do. Mm-hmm. So you just fall back into that trap.
So change often occurs when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of making a change. When was the pain for you greater than making a change? When did it pivot? When it changed mentally for you? I know it was after the last time you got out, obviously.
Yeah.
But talk to us about when that flick of the switch happened for you then.
I think it was before I got out last time. So I got arrested again. I was just running amok around Brisbane. Same stuff, home invasion, standing over people, selling a lot of drugs, partying 24/7. And I got pinched with a whole lot of stuff. I went to jail and I was in there maybe a month or two, a couple of months, and then I got Supreme Court bail. So I got Supreme Court bail to a private rehab up here on the Sunshine Coast, and I went there. I was only supposed to be there for a month. I had no intention of sort of changing. I was just going to go there so I could get Supreme Court bail, then I could go back, party with the boys, keep making money, do all that kind of stuff until I got sentenced, and then I'd have to go back in and serve my sentence. But when I was in this rehab, something clicked like that. It was this rehab, it was a mental health retreat and drug and alcohol rehabilitation. So they worked a lot with your core beliefs, a little bit around traumas, childhood traumas and stuff like that. And I remember sitting back one day and I was just sort of like going, fuck, this stuff sort of makes sense. And it was the first time that I didn't have to have this mask on in a long time, because it was like I was hanging around normal people up there. I didn't have to have this mask on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I liked the feeling. I did. But at the same time, I was scared of the feeling. I didn't know how to live that life. I was scared that people were going to, once I leave this place, if I'm this normal guy, then I'm a victim again. I'm weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the people at the rehab, the people that worked there, what were they saying that you then thought, that makes sense?
Around core beliefs of not being worthy, not being good enough, abandonment wounds, rejection wounds, how trauma shows up inside the body and what happens when it manifests inside of you and stuff like that. I was like, at that stage, to me, trauma was okay, war zones, sexual assaults, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand complex trauma. I didn't understand the difference between complex trauma and PTSD, or CPTSD and PTSD and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, I don't know, I ended up staying there 6 months.
Amazing.
Yeah, as I said, I only had to be there 1 month, but I kept pushing and I was just like, no, I want to learn more. So, I paid for 5 more months and stayed up there, yeah.
I can see that switching you where I can imagine that first month or the first few weeks anyway, you're like those clients that you mentioned at the beginning of the episode where they're like, whatever, mate, you're full of shit, mate. I bet you were that dude at the beginning, weren't you?
Yeah, mate, I didn't want to get out of my bed. They're like, you got to go to class. I'm like, please, I'm not going to class. They're like, mate, we've got to tell the police that you're not sticking to your bail conditions. I'm like, fine, I'll go to class.
Yeah, I was going to say, because no one's going to pull you out of bed and make you go to class. So what made you do that?
Mate, that's all I had to say was, mate, we'll just let them know you're not sticking to your bail conditions. Like, fuck.
Why didn't you react to that then, in the character that you were then?
Because I knew what they would do. They would go, the moment I reacted in the way that I normally react, the police are going to come, then I'll go straight back to jail. And right then and there, this is cushy. It's pretty expensive. So it was like $15,000 a month. It was nice, good food, good people. As I said, I was like, maybe I'll give it a chance. Yeah.
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 So how did you even during this time then, I'm just trying to put the timelines together, were you still in the bike club even when you were in rehab?
Yeah, I was still in the club then, yeah.
So when you came out, were you back to, you obviously done all this learning, this transformation, did you go back to the club?
Yeah, I did straight away. I was stuck in two worlds.
Yeah.
It was like, and that's when my mental health really deteriorated around that time.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be in this life, but I didn't want to be in this life. And it was like, I wanted to be in this life. I just didn't know how to be in this life, but I didn't want to be in this life anymore, but it's all I know.
So what did you do then? How did you
struggle?
Yeah, I can imagine. So what did you do so where were you sitting then? You wanted to leave or you didn't want to leave the club?
I wanted to see if I could stay in the club, but change my ways. As silly as it sounds now, at the time, that was my best thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just sit here for a few more years, see if I can change. And, because it's got nothing to do with the club. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was all to do with me.
Yeah. So how did you, because obviously you're not in the club anymore, how did you end up transitioning that life?
Well, eventually, before I got sentenced, I got arrested again and charged over a few different things. So they pulled my bail, and then so I'm sitting back in jail, and that's when I really that really hurt me that time. It was like me and my oldest daughter we're extremely close. We're like like that, and it was 2 days before her primary school graduation. The cops came and got me, and I remember looking at them and saying, because like I promised her I'd be there. And whenever I was around her, it was like that was the only other time that I could just be that just carefree, not have a worry in the world, and just be happy.
Yeah.
And I remember I promised her I'd be there. And then when the cops came and got me, I said, it's my daughter's graduation in 2 days. They said, yeah, we know. Oh,
They knew that, did they?
yeah.
How did they know that?
Well, mate, they've been investigating me for a long time. Yeah.
So you missed it.
Yeah. And that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt a lot, knowing what I'd done to her, knowing the trauma that I'd probably caused her around that. And she was getting older and stuff now. And it was like originally before I got hit with these new charges, I was maybe looking at a year or two to serve. And when I got hit with these new charges, I was just like shit, especially one of them, which I ended up beating, but I was looking at like 15 plus years, yeah.
So how did you not get that timeline then?
I ended up beating one of the charges, well, not the main charge, one of the big charges. So it was an attempt to maim, disfigure, or disable over an alleged shooting. And yeah, by the time it made it to court, they had no evidence to offer, so they had to throw the charge out. As a police, when they charged me over it, they said, "Look, we know you did it. We can't prove you did it." And I remember looking at this copper and I said, "Mate, I know you suck dick. I can't prove it. Like, what's the difference?" And he's like, "Yeah, mate, we'll see who's laughing when you're sitting in jail." I was like, "Send me to jail, whatever."
Yeah.
Putting that brave face on yet again, but inside just like dying.
Yeah.
Absolutely dying inside. Yeah.
Did your daughter? How did you fix that with your daughter?
It took a while, She didn't want to talk to me when I first when I went in there, and I tried putting her mum's number on the phone. They didn't put that on. I was sending her letters every second day. Write a new letter, bang, send it out. And she wasn't writing back. I was still sending them. I'm like, nah, because I know one day she's going to realise that I was trying as much as, it's like, because none of it was her fault whatsoever. It's like, but at least I could show her that I was trying to heal, especially heal the relationship. And yet again, when I was in jail, you're in those two worlds. I didn't want to be in that world, but it's all I knew. And I wanted to get out, but I was scared to get out. So I was the same thing. I was just running amok while I was in there, consuming drugs again while I was in there. Not all the time, but just when the pain got too much, I'd get on it. And eventually, when I got sentenced, because I beat that major charge, I got a head sentence of 9.5 years, which means in Queensland, if you get under 10 years, after you serve a third, you can apply for parole. So in my head, I'm like, maybe I'll do 3 or 4 years. Still running amok, and then when I got sentenced, I thought, nah, I can't do this. Like, I've got to settle down. I've got to sort of start changing my ways. Otherwise, I'm not going to get parole, and I'm going to be in here for 5 or 6, 7 years. Who knows? I might have to serve my whole time.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I started changing my ways. I was less reactive. I stopped getting in fights when I didn't need to. There was still a few more fights, but if I really didn't need to and I could walk away, I'd walk away. Whereas in the past, I'm like, you looked at me the wrong way, let's have a crack. Like,
yeah.
And then when I could finally apply for parole, put it in, I got it. They just said, you've got to do this one course, this drug course. Once you do that, you'll get your parole. I was like, okay. So I went and did that, got my parole, yeah. But it wasn't, my daughter started sort of talking to me every now and then about a year before I got out. But I could tell she had her walls up. She was very guarded and protected. She didn't want to get hurt again,
Sure.
And it just broke me. It really did. Just knowing that I'd made her do that. It's just like, I still get a bit emotional about it now. And I kept working, kept chipping away at those walls. Letting her know that I was safe, that I was serious this time.
And it paid off.
It did, yeah. I remember 2 weeks before I got out, Mum's like, come up and visit me. And then as I've come out, I'm like, who's that? There's this like girl there with like curly hair, and she stood up and turned around, and I was like crying. That's my daughter. Yeah, I was like, oh man.
How was your
Yeah.
mum in all of this, seeing you in jail?
Sorry.
How was your mum in all of this, seeing her son?
It breaks her, you know, it really does. Yeah, it's the amount of times she'd cry, and I'd just inside it was breaking me, but on the outside I was putting that tough bravado on. Don't worry, mum.
Hmm.
You know, I'll change. Just telling her what she needed to hear. You know, and but inside it was killing me.
Did she
Yeah.
believe you that it would change?
I think she wanted to. She really did, but I'd broken her trust that many times that she always had that devil on her shoulder, you know. He's not going to change. He'll never change. And the police telling her he's never going to change. Everyone's telling her. My own family's telling her he's never going to change. You know.
Yeah.
So I think she struggled with that a lot, and something I had to forgive myself. It took a long time to have that self forgiveness over stuff like that. I could forgive myself for stuff I'd done to random people and that, because at the time I was only doing what was aligned with my own beliefs.
Hmm.
But hurting my family like that was a struggle. Yeah.
Was there a point where she did, like your daughter, trust you again?
Yeah, so I got out, and I remember telling mum. So that by that stage, I'd made the decision in my head that I was going to leave the club. You know, I was just waiting till I get out of jail. I'll do it the right way, and but mum didn't know that. And mum, she used to smoke like a chimney, like at least a pack a day, and I was worried about her. And so I told her, I said, look, mum, I said, if you quit smoking, I said, I'll leave the club.
Love
She goes,
that.
really? I said, yep. I said, I'll leave the club if you quit smoking. She goes, all right, done. I said, all right. And in my head, I was sort of like, hopefully she quits, but I don't know how. And I got out, she's quit smoking.
Just like that.
Just like that. Mate, the
Oh,
power
so,
of love.
see, you can do it, mum.
The power of love. Eh? It's like, yeah. And
Amazing. She wanted to do it for her little boy.
yeah.
Love that.
It's funny, recently I told her, it's like, mum, I said, if you start smoking again, I said, I'm going to go back and join a club. She's like, you will not. Yeah, it's like, no, I said, I'm only joking. I won't do that. I said, but just making sure you're not going to start again. Yeah.
And how hard is it to leave the club?
Not too hard. I mean, sort of with this particular club, when you sign up, you know, you sign a bike agreement, 5-year bike agreement, I think it is. And if you leave before your retirement time, you've got to pay money and hand your bike over. But there's no way I was doing that. Yeah, there's no way.
No way you would hand your bike over.
No, there's no way I'd hand bike money over or anything, even if so you can get kicked out. You can go out on good standings, you can go out on bad standings. If you're out on bad standings, they'll come take everything and stuff like that. If you're out on good standings, you're sweet with the club. Like that's, you can still talk to people, you can still say hi to people, you can probably still go to functions and that, but not doesn't interest me whatsoever. Yeah.
So how did you leave, on a good or a bad stand?
Both. It started off bad and then went good, yeah. I think it was a bit of a shock when I was leaving, and I think there's a few people trying to sort of influence the decision a bit, you know, but when everyone realised that, mate, I'm just leaving for the right reasons. I'm leaving to better my life. I'm not leaving because I ripped you guys off. I'm not leaving to go join another club or anything like that. I'm leaving to better my life.
And they were cool with that?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Did you get to keep the bike?
Yeah, so well, I've got no bikes now. I've sold all the bikes, but yeah, I got to keep the bike anyway then.
And you had somebody who's now very close to you, the lovely Jess, who I've also met. You met her a part of your journey.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that, how you met Jess, because you met her at the rehab as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
She
right.
really became part of your recovery journey.
She did. It was, yet again, it was like, she was the first girl that I'd been around that I didn't have any mask on.
Yeah.
And I was really me. And there was something there. There was something there straight away, you know, and it was like, but I kept telling her, look, I'm going back to jail soon. And she could see I was struggling because I was still half in, half out of that life. And it was like, it was kind of like we met, it was the right people, wrong time, you know. And then when, you know, I was obviously in jail and stuff like that, we were together, and, but it was hard. It was very hard, you know, like any relationship in jail, especially for that amount of time. It got to the point sort of where we just had to make that decision together and say, look, while I'm in here, let's just be friends. You know, it's like, you can go do your thing, I'll do my thing in here. So I'm not doing head miles. You don't have to do head miles. It's like, let's just be friends and we'll see what happens when I get out. And then when I got out, I was healing that relationship with my daughter, which was going really good. I was living up in Hensley and Sunshine Coast at my mum's place. That was the only place I got approved to live when I got out on parole. And it's me and Jess just, we started hanging out together every single day, and we were pretty much back together not long after that, like properly together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she supported me the whole she supported me quite a lot during my journey. If it wasn't for her, I would have struggled a lot more than I did.
Yeah. The way I picture your part of your journey, spending so much time in the Bikey club and in and out of jail over those times of years, in a sense, you're kind of like out of society, aren't you, in a way? Normal society, anyway, at least.
Yeah.
When you're entering that now, as I don't know how to call it, cleaner life, transformative part of your journey, how are I remember us talking about your human interactions with, everyday people. How did you communicate with people? Did you understand how people were talking to you, how their reactions?
Well, yeah.
It's quite a, people don't think about that usually, do they? But I know we discussed it on the pre-chat, so I feel like that's really important. Just taking a very quick break to thank our sponsor, Eshu Skincare. If you haven't heard of them, Eshu Skincare started right here in Australia, using Australian ingredients to make skincare straightforward and accessible, especially for men who want results without the fuss. Their journey took them all the way to the US, where they were featured in Macy's and over 300 stores. Now they're back with a fresh approach, focusing on healthy skin and authenticity for everyone. I'm proud to have Eshu Skincare as a sponsor on Leading Our Own Way. See the show notes for their website and to see how you can keep your skin healthy and confident. And if you're interested in sponsoring like Eshu Skincare, drop us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Now, right back to the episode.
It was, that's something I really struggled with quite a lot. And it's like, I thought I had no friends anymore, because all my friends I sort of had to distance myself from, because they were still doing that same thing. And, they were on their journey at the time. And so I'd meet these new people and they thought I was wild. Like, someone was like, oh, this person was talking rubbish about me at work. I'm like, sweet, let's go bash them. They're like, what? Like, mate, no, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? Like, why can't you do that? And things like that. Someone would say something to a friend of mine and I'd just be wanting to rip their head off. For a while I was at work, I got a normal job. I was doing asphalting, and then the supervisor would tell me to do something. Like, who the fuck are you talking to like that, mate? Like, talk to me with some fucking respect. Or
they should though, shouldn't they?
Yeah. But it's like even normal words that to most people are normal. Like, if you call someone champ, that's normal. Hey sport, how you going? Hey chief. Mate, in my world, the world that I came from, you call screws chief. Champ means a cocksucker, stuff like that. So it's like people that didn't understand that. So it's kind of like I had to keep reminding myself, they don't know. And it was like I was so still full of ego, because that's what kept me safe for so long, that I didn't know how to switch it off. And I really struggled, and that's where Jess really supported me a lot through that.
Yeah.
I was like, mate, I'd be at the shops and someone would say something to me, and then I'd walk away, but I'd do head miles over it for days. I'd be calling myself, going, you fucking weak piece of shit. Like, you're not a man. Why didn't you smack him? So I'd be telling Jess, we got to go back. I got to go get this guy. Like, I can't, my head, And she's like, no, it's all right. Just come, just chill, sit, relax. And, she would talk me through it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long ago was that scenario, would you say then? How many years ago was that?
2022, 2023.
So 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So to go from that type of reaction to where you're at now, that's actually not that long of a time. You must have done some shit hard fucking work to even get to the point where you're now actually helping others, right? I think you'd still be on the journey of just yourself, never mind helping others.
That's where it comes down to. That's why I tell people, if you want to work with me, you need 100% commitment.
Yeah.
Like, because what I do is not fucking easy. It's not. You've got to take the hardest look at yourself you're ever going to take in your life. But I promise you, if you do that, you reap the benefits. You can see the gifts of life just keep giving every single day. Yeah. I'm a firm believer in that, It's stop using the drugs and the alcohol, sweet, man. I used to do it every time I go to jail. I'd stop using the drugs and the alcohol. Guess what? I'd come out, I'd get triggered. And because I hadn't healed anything, I'd just pick up again. Yeah. You see it all the time. People coming out of rehab, they're in that safe cotton wool environment. As soon as they get out, all they've done is just stop using. As soon as they come out, guess what? Life hits them in the face. What are you going to do then?
Yeah. Lived experience, isn't it?
Mate, that's it. It's like when your abandonment wound or your rejection wound or your PTSD is getting triggered again. If you haven't worked on it, you're stuffed. And that's why, I did some fucking serious work on myself over the years. And over the years, I've probably been to 7 or 8 rehabs as well. A lot of them were just for court ordered, or not court ordered, but I'd go there because I'd be pinched on something and try to get a better sentence or whatever it is. And but I took a piece from every single rehab. It's like, they planted, each one planted a different seed inside of me. So I sort of had an idea of what was going on. That's why even with the talk therapy, I knew what was going on up here. I just didn't know why my body would react to everything still.
Yeah.
Because to me, the anger would start off down in my belly and then it would just rise. And as soon as I could feel it over my heart, I knew that my head would just explode.
Yeah. It's hard to take that emotion out of the trauma, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because when you can take the emotion out of the trauma, that's when it becomes wisdom.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. Going back to those coppers that you heard say that you would never change, like you would have heard it to yourself, to your mother, like you said. If you could speak to those coppers, what would you say, or what would you hope he says to you now?
Just some respect, the same respect that I give everyone now, And that's what I hated my whole entire life. I hated the police. I've got a tattoo on my leg of the Monopoly man stomping on a police officer's head.
Wow.
That's how, I did not like them. The person I am now can realise that they're only coming from their own traumas and their own reactions are coming from what they've, their own experiences.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to help them heal as well.
Do you hate police now?
I don't hate them, no. I don't like the ones that use their badge as a weapon. I think there are some great police out there. I also think there's some ones that should not be police officers, but I wouldn't say hate. I would not say hate,
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So you started, along your journey, you started to be, I suppose, similar to me, you start to be a little bit more accountable when you start social media.
Yeah.
How did you find that beginning journey for you? Because it's quite daunting to be, vulnerable where you are now, but I'd say at this point you're quite used to it. That's why you articulate yourself so well. But at the beginning of that, and it's the same for me when I started, like, I can't do this. Now I don't think twice. What was it like for you starting that journey publicly?
It took a while, and it was I was helping people outside of that, and I've done a bit of study in that, and I was counselling or therapy for a lot of people, and then I just kept seeing all these videos. Like, I didn't have much social media, but Jess had it, and she would, my wife, and she was showing me these videos of people talking about this and talking about that, and it seemed to be that, like, mental health and recovery, drug addiction, or transforming your life, becoming what I call unbreakable, but whatever they would call it. It was like the buzzword. It still sort of is, but there's so many unqualified people in there talking about trauma, talking about transforming your life, talking about all you need to do is say affirmations in a mirror and you'll be sweet. Like, mate, you've got 12 months lived experience, you've got no study, and you're charging people $5,000 to do a course that you know is not going to work. To me, I find that disgusting. They're taking advantage of vulnerable people.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm sitting there like, mate, I've done the work, I've done the study, I've got over 20 years of lived experience. I know what I'm talking about. Maybe I should start doing videos and just see what reaction I get out of it, and even pick up more clients that way as well, in regards to people that actually want to change. And so I started making videos. Mate, the first video probably took me 2 days to make. I just recording it, and it was like, I'm stuttering, and I'm like, didn't know how to say anything. And as he said, that was kind of like second nature now. It's like I get a reel in my head, and I'm like, all right, but quickly do it, and just Yeah.
Well, where can people find you on your social media handles, by the way? So go away, plug it.
So on Facebook, we've got Unbreakable Spirit Co. On Instagram, unbreakablespirit.co. And TikTok is Unbreakable Spirit Co.
I will put everything in the show notes as well if you want to reach out to Sam and the gang and the team and get involved and get stuck in. If you're on the other side of the world, reach out. I know you probably won't be able to attend the meetings and the breathwork and whatnot, but please reach out for any form of advice as well. I'm sure they'll
happy to talk to anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. What I love, because Jess is, and I love to talk about Jess. I absolutely adore Jess. I think she's amazing. She puts time in with me as well, which is really nice. When we met, she was so nice and talking to me. But something I love about what you guys do, opposed again, not just in the middle where people are stuck in the middle, that you like to help. You also like to look at the root causes, but also the aftercare, the therapy down the track, because it just stops, doesn't it? But you continue that journey.
Yeah, it's massive, especially I've found in the breathwork scene. Is like people just come do your journey, then see you later. I don't want to know you again. You know, you're on your way. That's very dangerous. You know, it's all about, we provide support before the journey. You know, where we talk to people over the phone if they want to have a phone call. Otherwise, we can message and stuff like that. During the journey, obviously, we support them. And then after the journey, you know, sometimes we sit there afterwards on the journey for an hour and a half, 2 hours, talking with people, bringing them back into their body.
Yeah.
You know, because some people come out disassociated. It's the first time some people have sort of brought this stuff to the surface. You know, so we'll sit there and talk with them. Then what we do as well is a couple of days afterwards, we have another phone call, and then I do an online Zoom journey, which is a down regulation journey. And that's for everybody. They can jump on every single week if they've done an activation journey, they can jump on every single week to this particular journey. And it's just letting their body know that it's safe again. This is this new baseline. Yeah.
New baseline. Love it. Yeah. That baseline can definitely be changed.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
That's the thing. It's the breaths, it's the direct route to the autonomic nervous system, you know, your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system. So your fight or flight and your rest and repair. So it's like through the breath, we literally can change our whole entire lives, how we react to everything. Open that window of tolerance from here all the way up to there. So when things are happening every day like that, you can handle it. You're not getting triggered as much, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know breathwork's different to meditation, but it's like when meditation people say about clearing your mind. I find it actually impossible to clear your mind. And I keep saying, you know, you have 80,000 thoughts, give or take, a day of the average person. You cannot clear your mind. I sit there going, I'm clearing my mind. Well, no, I'm actually thinking about clearing my mind, so therefore I'm not clearing my mind. But it's about getting used to the negative. Oh, sorry, it's not even negative. It's about getting used to any type of thought coming into your head as well, isn't it? You know?
That's it, yeah. And it's about noticing what thoughts are coming into the time and why. It's like, you know, depression's thinking about the past, anxiety's thinking about the future.
Yeah.
So if we can stay in the present moment, the thoughts, there's millions of thoughts we can have right now about anything. If I have an unwanted thought come into my head, I literally pop it on a leaf and watch it float down a stream, and I'll just go, mate, I'll come back to you later.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Yeah, right now I'm looking at, you know, it's like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things you can look at, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing and 1 thing you can taste.
Yeah, I love that.
You know,
that's great.
Just start mentioning those things. Well, I can see the computer, I can see my didgeridoo, I can see the wall and that. Guess what? I'm here now. I'm not thinking about the future or the past. So
yeah. Love that. Yeah, that's so good. I'm gonna use that. Anxiety is quite an interesting one, isn't it? You know, because if you go back in the day before, again, we invented all these beautiful things. You know, we could run from the tiger, and now you can't run from the tiger because you know, you might go to work. Well, it's like, for example, work. If there's issues at work, there's a toxic person or a toxic person in your life, your family, whatnot. You can't run away anymore. So. Anxiety is a byproduct of fear, and I always share the example of like a deer in nature. If a lion or a tiger is attacking a deer, there's only 2 results: it'll survive or it'll die. And you can go on YouTube and watch the deer being attacked, and after the attack's over, if it survived, the mother is looking after its young immediately. It doesn't have time to be anxious, because if it does, it's a weak stand, so therefore survival is not going to exist for that family, that tribe. Obviously, if the tiger comes back, fear has to set in, because fear is telling you something's not right, we need to leave. But as soon as that attack is over, fear disappears, and the mother is looking after its young again. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? But
no, it definitely does. Yeah,
can't do that as humans anymore.
I wish we could. Yeah,
I know. Me too.
All I do is just give you a pill and just mask the problem for a bit, and it's just, you know, that's the thing with the tablets. It's all it's doing is masking. You got to get to the root cause. Don't get me wrong, the tablets can be good for a bit, but that's the best time to do the inner work.
Yeah, I mean, I got antidepressants. I never took them. I threw them on the table in the dining room, and I was advised not to to do it after getting the advice off the professional, but and they said to me, "We're not going to be fixing the problem, the root cause here." And obviously, I was in the dark space. I was like, "Oh, is it just shame that your partner's going to be taking antidepressants?" And obviously that wasn't the case. Now I know what I know, but at the time, that's where my head was at. But I never took them, and I'm grateful that I never did, because I worked on it. With us then, your journey, do you feel, if there's anything that you think we've missed that is worth sharing, what would that be?
I think some of the realizations I've had now is into those sort of past behaviors. It's that anger as a secondary emotion, and generally that anger is in my case, it was to hide fear, because I was so scared that people were going to see that I was still that sweet, sensitive, caring kid behind this mask. So I had to use anger. I've got to get you before you get me, because otherwise everyone's going to see that I'm still that sensitive, caring kid, and I don't want anyone to see that, because he was weak, he was vulnerable. And that now embracing that I am still that sweet, sensitive, caring kid gets rid of the anger.
If somebody's sitting there in the middle of what you've just said, how do they get over to that point? How do they jump over that fence and not let fear take over the anger take over in particular?
Yet again, try and get with someone that you feel safe and comfortable with, and just start doing that work. Start getting back to that root cause of what it is you're trying to mask.
Yeah. And they have to sit there for a while to get to the root of that, don't they? And there's obviously some great professionals out there that they can seek as well.
Yeah, you've got to. My favourite saying is, you got to feel to heal.
I like that.
It's like, you really do. If you're not going to sit in that feeling, people try and get themselves out of anxiety real quick, or they try and get themselves out of depression really quickly. No, sit in there for a moment. Sit in there where you're safe to do so. That's the most important part there, being safe to do so, and see where it leads you. Love
it.
Yeah,
absolutely love it. Right. Well, I'll bring the 3 final questions in. We're just because we're here on Leading Our Own Way, and we're sharing wisdom with the world. We'll still go through things. We'll still find difficult moments in our life. So we have to look into the future. We have to understand our purpose, and we'll get to your purpose, even though it's very crystal clear what your purpose is. What are your future plans going forward?
In the near future, I want to start getting into corporate, start talking to businesses as well, as not just, I'm not going to cut off what I'm doing now, have what I'm doing now, but start getting into the business world as well, and letting men know what a man actually is. Because I find it so sick and twisted, especially in some of that corporate sort of side of things. They think because they're a workaholic that it's okay, it's a healthy addiction. Just letting them know how to handle their emotions, how to regulate their nervous system and stuff like that. In the next couple of years, though, the big one we want to do is open our own mental health retreat. So it'll be a drug and alcohol and a mental health retreat. But yeah.
Oh, I love that. Amazing. Love the future plans, and can't wait to watch you from Melbourne. But anytime you come back this way, we're always here. We're going to catch up as well. So
100%.
Love to watch you on that journey, you guys, you and Jess as well. You've given pieces of gems throughout this episode, loads that I can take away alone. But I always ask the guests just to give us one powerful piece of advice to leave us on some of the topic, as a generic part of our journey today. What could you leave us on to as a big takeaway?
I think believe in yourself and believe in your breath. The more you're connected to your breath, the more you can handle life.
Love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, before I ask you my final question, I told you before we went on air, I'm going to probe a little question at you. And I don't think it gets asked very often, and I kind of like it. I've fallen in love with this question. And it doesn't fall with every guest because it doesn't align with their journey, but I think it does for you.
Yeah.
So what's a question for you wish people would ask you, but they never do?
Oh.
I told you.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Geez, that has stumped me.
It's a good one though, right?
Yeah, that is a great question. Does that mean just in general life or?
Anything. Yeah, and yeah, absolutely anything towards for you and you and what people would know in you, and even interviewers maybe. I don't know what's a question you wish people would get to you, but they never seem to ask it.
How did you move on from life with, or how did you move on with self-forgiveness, mainly forgiveness? What does that look like for you? Yeah.
Can you
And
answer it?
now you put me on the spot again. Um, I think that, well, forgiveness, that's a big part, It's, I could always forgive other people for what they've done, but that self-forgiveness, took me a long time, and I think what I've realized is forgiving myself is just living in alignment. When I'm doing the next right thing every single day, when I'm living in with who I truly am inside, then I'm forgiving myself for everything that I've done.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
when you find that you've forgiven yourself and it's true and it's authentic, do you
Yeah.
find that everybody else forgives you as well?
To a point, yeah. Yeah.
Are you happy with the people that have forgiven you?
100%, yeah, yeah. I'm grateful that they have forgiven me and given me a chance as well, and I think that even living in alignment, it's, for me, for most of my life, I chased happiness, and I chased happiness through drugs, money, gambling, women, all the above. And it's like, when I make $1 million, I'll be happy. Mate, guess what? I'm not happy. Okay, well, when must need to make two to be happy. When I've got 5 girlfriends, I'll be happy. Get that? Well, I must need 10. You're always chasing that more.
Pleasure hits though.
That is, yeah. And what I've realized is it's not about chasing happiness, it's about chasing peace.
Yeah.
Knowing that when I'm going to be happy, guess what? I can be sad as well. And when I can be sad, I can be a little bit annoyed, I can be jealous, I can be all the above. But no matter what, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm still me.
See, for me, happiness is before I come to the final one. I think for me, happiness is that I've mentioned it quite a lot on the podcast, but it's threefold, and it's one, understanding your meaning. Why do you get up out of bed every morning? And this is a long term state. Some people and some neurosciences will depict what I say and say otherwise, and say how happiness, you can go flowing in and out. And I get that perspective, but for me, it's more of a long-term state. Like right now, you could, let's say you piss me off and you anger me or you upset me or whatever it may be. Doesn't mean it's going to take my whole long-term state of happiness away. You know what I'm saying? I might be upset for the moment, but after my sleep and morning, because I've worked on myself, I'll be okay. I'll be happy in my long-term state of happiness. But that's threefold. So understanding your meaning, why do you get up every morning? Your purpose, your why. Yeah. Enjoy the things that I choose to do, but also then be satisfied with the things that I've done. So obviously your gratitude and things like that.
Yeah.
But those three things, if you have those three things at play, meaning, understanding your why, enjoy your day, think of the things that help you enjoy your day, and then be satisfied at the end of the day. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that brings out that. And then obviously contentment as well. I'm content.
Yeah.
The things that I put into my body, connection. I've explained it before. 4 C's of contentment: connection, contribution, the podcast, my teaching, the education, cope, mindfulness. Your breath work. You could bring your breath work into the cope, whatever feels fit for you. Mine's my cold exposure as well, and I do my breath work in the cold exposure. I kind of put those two into play because it helps me get through the cold, and it helps me be present as well. And I've noticed the effects later on in the day as well, how clear I am and clarity is for the majority of the day. Sleep within that as well, within cope, and movement and exercise, but then cook, eating good food, putting the right things into my body, fill for deficiencies, give the body what it needs to thrive. And that's my 4 C's of contentment and the happiness, what I mentioned.
That's putting in alignment. So there's the forgiveness side as well. So if you keep doing that, there's nothing you need to forgive over.
Yeah, so true. Is there somebody still in your life then who you still hope to forgive you?
No, I think I'm surrounded by everyone I need to be surrounded by at the moment,
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It's crystal clear what your purpose is, Sam, but I always ask the guest to put it into one powerful line to finish us off. So what is your purpose?
I think I sort of briefed over it earlier, is just to use my past to help someone else's future.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Sam, it's been... Oh, sorry?
that is my purpose in life. Yeah.
Love it. Sam, it's
Yeah.
been an absolute honour to have you on Leading Our Own Way. I look forward to it. I'm kind of devastated it's over, if I'm honest, but it's been an absolute honour to have you here, and thank you for taking your time.
You. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on here. I really do.
No, I do. And we can tell the world now. We just found out 2 days ago you appeared on one of my old previous amazing good friends that used to live really close to me. He's now moved up to Queensland where you are, and he sent me a picture of you two giving a cuddle. I kind of got jealous, actually.
Yes, yeah, I was on that podcast because he goes, "Oh, have you been on any others?" I said, "Yeah, I've been on about 4 or so." So I'm actually going on a Thursday. I'm really looking forward to it. And then I mentioned who it was, and he's like, "What? Yeah, he's one of my best mates." I went, "Really?"
Can't believe it. Just can't believe it. Good old Braden up in Brisbane and the No Bull podcast.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right?
Mobile podcast,
I love their logo and setup. That's so good. That what those guys are doing.
Yeah, and they call everyone the herd that listens and stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
That's cool. Very cool. Right, well, please go and check that one out. But check this episode out. Well, you've already listened to it if we got to this point, so there we go. But go and check that episode out if you want to as well with Sam over at Noble. There's a good friend Braden of mine as well. So always got to push the support for everybody else, don't we? So
100%. Yeah,
love it. I was going to call you Braden then. Sam, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Have a great week, and thanks for coming on.
No, you too. I'll speak to you soon.
Absolutely. To everybody else, keep coming back for more amazing guests. We've got another one coming back next week. But until then, keep leading your own way. Have a great weekend, and come back for more. We'll see you then. Take care. Bye for now. Sam, thank you for your honesty and for turning your lived experience into a lifeline for other people. If you're listening right now and you're in the middle of your own change, I want you to remember this. You don't have to become a new person overnight. You just have to choose the next step, and the next right step, and keep choosing it. Healing is built in small moments. A breath before you react, a conversation you used to avoid, asking for help instead of disappearing. If today's episode with Sam gave you even a little bit of hope, hold on to it, then pass it on. Follow Leading Our Own Way, on this podcast. Share with someone you care about, and keep walking your own way forward. From Sam and myself, keep leading your own way and have a great weekend. And come back next week for another amazing guest. Until then, bye for now. Oh, Tuesday Truths. We're back. Sammy Jones, everybody. Sammy Jones, the Unbreakable Mentor. He reminds us of something simple, but life-changing. You can't heal what you don't feel. I love that. I absolutely love it. I love it when I said that. Sam's journey moves from anger, chaos, and survival to peace, purpose, and presence. And the bridge wasn't willpower. It was safety. It was community. It was learning to regulate emotion one breath at a time. So here's your truth for today. You're not too far gone. You're not broken beyond repair. You're a human being who deserves support. If you needed that reminder, go listen to parts 1 and 2 now and follow Leading Our Own Way so you don't miss the next story and next journey of all these incredible people that just keep coming my way. I absolutely love it. Thanks for joining me on my journey. Here's Leading Our Own Way and today's Tuesday Truths with Sammy Jones. Thanks for listening and watching Leading Our Own Way. So we can stay together forever and share more incredible journeys, please subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss next week's episode and what that amazing guest has to offer to the world. Please support Leading Our Own Way, and we'll get you on next week's episode.